Dive. Today, we are taking a look at a performance that uh, almost every single one of us participates in, probably on a weekly basis.
Oh, a lease.
Right. But we rarely stop to analyze the actual script of it. We are talking about the restaurant experience.
It really is a performance, isn't it, when you break it down?
It is. And
Uh,
most
a
people
waiter.
assume it's just this simple thing where you walk in, you point in what you want, you eat, and you leave.
Right, the purely functional view.
Exactly.
Right.
But when you actually look at the transcript of a dining interaction, which is what our source material is doing today, you realize it's this incredibly complex social negotiation.
Yes, there are unspoken rules. There are status games being played.
Yeah, there's a specific dance of language happening from the exact moment you grab the door handle.
Absolutely. It's deceptive because on the surface, sure, it looks transactional. You are trading money for calories. But if you peel back the layers, a restaurant interaction is actually a high-stakes social ritual.
High stakes is a good way to put it.
It's about territory, it's about face saving, and it's heavily about cooperation. If you get the script wrong, you don't just get the wrong food, you actually break the social contract.
Right, and nobody wants to be the person who makes the waiter sigh audibly. So our mission today is to decode this ritual for you.
We have some great source material for this.
We do. We have a set of materials that tracks a complete dinner interaction between two characters, Anna and Mark, at a place called the Sunset Grill.
A very classic standard dining scenario.
Exactly. We're going to dissect their moves, their mistakes. Well, actually, they're pretty smooth in this source text. But we'll look specifically at how they handle conflict.
That conflict part is key. I mean, anyone can order a burger when things are going perfectly. The real test of social intelligence is what you do when the burger comes out wrong.
Oh, we will definitely get to the burnt salmon incident later on. But let's start at the beginning, the entry.
The threshold.
Yes. In our source, the couple walks in, and they are immediately met by the host. The waiter asks, "How many people are in your party?" And Anna gives the key phrase, "A table for two, please."
Standard opening move.
Right. But then comes the dreaded question. Do you have a reservation?
You know, I've always found that moment totally fascinating. There's a micro anxiety there, even if the restaurant is completely empty.
Totally. It feels like a test. Like
Yeah.
if I say no, I've somehow failed as an adult planner.
Well, it's a gatekeeping moment. The restaurant is a controlled environment, and you are basically asking for permission to enter their territory.
Right.
So when the host asks if you have a reservation, they are establishing the hierarchy right up front. Now, in the source, Anna simply says, "No, we don't." And I think this is really worth noting. She doesn't over-explain. She doesn't apologize profusely.
That's a really good point. I feel like I usually launch into a whole fabricated story. Like, oh, we were just walking by and we didn't know if we'd be hungry, but then we smelled the garlic.
Which just signals insecurity to the staff.
Yeah, exactly.
Anna just offers the raw data, "No." And because she's calm, the waiter's response is equally calm. He just says, "That's fine, please follow me." The tension resolves immediately.
So it turns out the reservation check is usually just a logistical toggle. It's not a moral judgment on your character.
Usually not. Unless it's a Saturday night in downtown Manhattan, of course.
Then you're saddle locking back on the street.
Exactly.
So they clear the first hurdle, they get the table. Mark confirms it's, quote, perfect, which, by the way, is a nice little polite lie we all tell, even if the table is wedged near the bathroom.
Part of the social contract.
Right. And then we enter the next phase, the menu.
Ah, the paradox of choice.
Exactly. Anna looks at the menu and she says, wow, there are so many choices. And you can feel the energy shift in the scene.
It's that moment where the fun of let's go out to eat turns into the actual work of what am I going to commit to putting in my body?
Yeah. In the source, she's thinking about the grilled salmon, Mark is looking at a burger. But they aren't ready. And this is where the source material highlights a really effective strategy. They don't want to hold the waiter hostage while they debate.
Hmm.
So Anna pivots.
She asks, "Do you want to share an appetizer?"
Yes. Now, I usually see appetizers as just, being extra hungry, but you see this as a specific tactic.
Oh, it's absolutely a tactic. Functionally, yes, you get some food early. In their case, they agree on garlic bread. But socially, ordering an appetizer buys you time without losing face.
How so?
It signals to the waiter, hey, we are active customers, we're spending money, you can put this initial order in.
Yeah.
It relieves the pressure for both the table and the server. It basically regulates the pace of the meal for everyone involved.
I really like that framing. It's a stall, but it's a highly productive stall.
Exactly.
So they order the garlic bread. The waiter goes away, comes back a bit later, and asks the golden question, are you ready to order?
This is the danger zone.
Why is it the danger zone?
Because if you say yes, but you're not actually ready, you end up panic ordering.
Which is how I usually end up with the chicken Caesar salad I didn't even want.
Right.
But Anna doesn't do that. She uses a phrase I absolutely love here. She says, "We have a few questions."
It's a total power shift. Instead of the waiter managing them and forcing a decision, they're inviting the waiter to act as a consultant for them.
And then Mark asks what I think is the most high-value question you can possibly ask in a restaurant. He says, "What do you recommend?"
It really is a great question.
See, I've always been skeptical of that one. I always feel like the waiter's just going to pitch me the most expensive item on the menu or whatever fish is about to go bad in the walk-in fridge.
That's the cynical view, sure. But in a decent establishment, the waiter is the subject matter expert. They know what the kitchen is executing really well tonight.
That makes sense.
By asking, "What do you recommend?" Mark is gathering intelligence. And notice in the text, the waiter doesn't say the lobster. He suggests the grilled salmon, explicitly noting it's the most popular dish. That's social proof.
And he adds that it comes with rice and vegetables. So they have the recommendation, but they don't just blindly follow it. This is the part of the dialogue I found super useful. They start vetting the food.
Yes, the clarification phase.
Anna asks, "Is the salmon spicy?" And Mark asks, "Does the burger come with fries?"
This is crucial. This is entirely about managing expectations. A lot of dining disappointment comes from unspoken assumptions. You assume the burger has fries, but it comes with a side salad. You're mad, but you didn't check.
Right, you just assumed.
By asking these specific binary questions, is it spicy? Does it come with fries? Okay, they are essentially signing a micro contract with the waiter. They are ensuring there are no surprises when the plates hit the table.
Okay, so they've got the intel. The salmon is not spicy. The burger does have fries. They are ready to pull the trigger. And this is where we need to stop and really look at the language, because the source material makes a very specific, pointed distinction here about how to order.
The politeness markers.
Right. The source explicitly warns against saying, "I want." Like, I want the salmon. I want the burger. To me, that sounds a bit direct, sure. But is it really that bad?
It's not bad in a strict grammatical sense, but in a social sense, it's remarkably aggressive.
Aggressive.
Yeah, it creates a tiny dominance hierarchy right there at the table. I want is a demand. Honestly, it's what a toddler says. It places the server firmly in a subservient role.
So what's the fix? What does the source actually have Anna say?
She says, "I'd like the grilled salmon, please."
I'd like.
Yes.
It's such a small change. I want versus I'd like.
It's small, but the psychological distance is huge. I'd like is conditional. It's short for I would like. It implicitly says, if it is possible and if it isn't too much trouble, this is my preference.
Wow.
It restores dignity to the interaction. It frames the order as a polite request between equals rather than a command from a master to a servant.
And Mark does the exact same thing with his order. He says, I'll have the cheeseburger.
Exactly. I'll have implies a future action that we are taking together. I want is just ego. If you take nothing else from this deep dive, just delete "I want" from your restaurant vocabulary. You will see a measurable difference in how staff treat you.
It's the difference between being just a customer and being a guest.
Precisely.
So the order is in. They navigate the customization next. Anna asks for her salmon to be cooked medium. Mark asks for his burger medium rare. And then they handle the drinks. Water is another one of those weird little cultural tests, right? The waiter asks, still or sparkling?
It's totally a vibe check. Sparkling usually signals a slower, more European-style dining experience. Still is utilitarian. You're just hydrating.
Anna goes for still water. Mark gets a Coke. The contract is signed.
The orders are in the kitchen.
The food eventually arrives. The waiter does the classic drive-by check-in. How is everything? Initially, they both say it's great, delicious, perfect. But then the plot thickens.
Here comes the conflict.
Anna cuts into her salmon. Remember, she ordered it medium. But the source text notes a major problem. This is well done, it's dry, it's overcooked.
Now, pause right here. What is the visceral reaction most people have in this exact moment?
Conflict avoidance.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would probably just eat it in silence and complain to you in the car on the way home.
Right. A lot of people do exactly that. Or, on the flip side, some people get instantly indignant. I'm paying for this, send it back.
Yeah, the two extremes.
But Anna chooses a third path, and it is a complete masterclass in conflict resolution.
She flags down the waiter with a standard, "Excuse me." But then she says this, and I want to get this exact. She says, "I'm sorry, but this isn't what I ordered." She actually apologizes.
I'm sorry.
Why is she apologizing? The chef burned the fish. She didn't do a single thing wrong. Is she just being too passive here?
I don't think so at all. I think she's being incredibly strategic. In linguistics, we talk about face-threatening acts. Complaining about the food directly threatens the waiter's face, his professional standing, and pride. By starting with, I'm sorry, Anna isn't admitting guilt for the cooked fish. She is apologizing for the discomfort of the situation. She is apologizing for breaking the social harmony of the meal.
So she's smoothing the waters before she drops the bomb that the food is wrong.
Precisely. She's signaling to the waiter, listen, I am not attacking you personally. We are still on the same team here. It de-escalates the waiter's natural defensiveness immediately.
That makes a lot of sense.
If she had just barked, hey, this is wrong, the waiter physically braces for a fight, but I'm sorry, but this isn't what I ordered, invites him to help her solve a mutual problem.
And looking at the script, it works flawlessly. The waiter immediately pivots to solution mode. He says, oh, I apologize for the mistake. I'll fix that right away. No argument. No, are you sure it's well done? Just immediate cooperation.
And notice how she closes that specific interaction. She doesn't just sit there silently feeling vindicated while he takes the plate away. She says, thank you, I appreciate it. She validates his effort to fix the kitchen's mistake.
It turns a highly negative moment into a positive interaction. And honestly, I think that's why people are so afraid to send food back. They don't know this script.
They don't have the tools.
Right, they think they have to be angry to get results. But Anna shows you can be firm by saying, this isn't what I ordered, and incredibly polite with the I'm sorry and thank you at the exact same time.
It's the Velvenhammer approach. Soft touch, but heavy impact.
So the crisis is averted, the new salmon comes out, presumably cooked a perfect medium this time, and the waiter apologizes once again. Anna says, no problem. And that's the closure of the conflict.
No problem resets the score. It tells the waiter, you don't need to feel bad anymore. We are back to normal status.
They finish the main course, and they even stay for dessert, which I think is a really good sign that the vibe wasn't ruined by the salmon incident.
Definitely.
They share a chocolate cake, again asking the waiter for a recommendation on that. And then we get to the final ritual of the evening, the bill.
The exit strategy. This is another place where people get weirdly awkward. They just sit there trying to make telepathic eye contact, waiting for the waiter to read their mind.
Mark takes the lead here. He says, excuse me, can we have the bill, please? It's direct, but polite. Then they handle the payment logistics. Anna checks, can we pay by card? Which they can. But then comes the final question, the one that causes actual fights in parking lots all over the world.
Tipping!
Yes, tipping. The source material tackles this, but it's interesting how they handle it. Anna asks Mark, should we leave a tip?
And Mark makes a definitive call.
He does. He says, yes, let's leave 10%. Now, depending on where you, the listener, are right now, 10% might sound like a huge, generous amount, or it might sound like a grave insult that's going to get your tires slashed.
It is highly, highly cultural. In the U.S., 10% is a statement and not a good one. You're saying the service was poor. In parts of Europe, it's quite generous. In Japan, it's just confusing, and they might chase you down the street to give your money back. But within the specific context of this source material, 10% is presented as the standard numerical guideline for their scenario.
I think what's more important than the actual percentage number here is the decision-making process. Mark doesn't waffle back and forth. He just sets the rule for the table. Let's leave 10%. It completely removes the ambiguity for the group.
That is the key takeaway there. The worst thing you can do at the very end of a meal is make the payment phase painful or drawn out. The goal is a graceful exit.
They pay, they say thank you, goodbye, and they walk out.
They survived the ritual, and not only did they survive, they successfully navigated a kitchen mistake, they got the exact food they wanted, and they left the staff feeling respected.
So when we zoom out and look at this whole dance, from the table for two at the door, to the I'd like instead of I want, to the I'm sorry but complaint strategy, what is the big overarching takeaway here for you? Is it really just about having good manners?
I think it's much deeper than just manners. Manners are just arbitrary rules we memorize. What this deep dive shows is that dining out is about empathy and strategy.
Empathy and strategy.
Yes. The restaurant is a microcosm of social cooperation. You have two distinct parties, the diner and the staff, who ultimately want the exact same thing, the successful, pleasant meal. But there are constant friction points. Waiting lists, confusing menus, kitchen errors, exchanging money.
And the specific language they use, the phrases we've been unpacking, that's the lubricant that reduces all that friction.
Exactly. When you use "I'd like" instead of "I want," or when you deploy that soft complaint technique with an apology, you are actively acknowledging the humanity of the person serving you.
You're stepping out of the main character syndrome.
Right. You are saying to them, I know this is a job, I know you are busy, and I'm going to make this interaction as smooth as possible for both of us. It turns a cold transaction into a brief but real human relationship.
And in a purely selfish way, doing that usually gets you much better service anyway.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
People naturally want to help people who treat them with dignity. If you bark orders, you get the bare minimum required by their job description. If you engage in the ritual politely, you get the extra care.
So here's my challenge to you, the listener. The very next time you are out, whether it's a fancy sit-down dinner or you're just grabbing a coffee at a cafe, I want you to try to catch yourself. Listen to your own internal monologue before you speak.
Catch the "I want."
Yes, catch the "I want" or the "can I get," and consciously flip it in the moment to "I'd like" or "I'll have," and just watch what happens. Watch the tension leave the server's face.
And if something goes wrong with your order, try the apologist strategy. I'm sorry, but this isn't right. See if it lowers your own blood pressure as much as it lowers theirs.
It's a tiny tweak to your vocabulary, but honestly, it changes the entire dynamic of the room.
Bon appétit.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you at the next table.